Canada at the Battle of Kapyong, April 1951, the Korean War was raging, and the Chinese army was on the move. Tens of thousands of enemy soldiers were advancing through the hills of Korea, threatening to break through to Seoul. The United Nations forces were in retreat, and the fate of the Korean capital hung in the balance. Standing in their path was a single battalion of Canadians. The Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry dug into the ridges of a valley called Kapyong. The 2nd Battalion, fewer than 700 men, held a key defensive position overlooking the road to Seoul. On April 22nd, as darkness fell, waves of Chinese soldiers crashed against the ridge. The night exploded with gunfire, grenades, and screams. The enemy came in endless numbers, thousands against hundreds. The Canadians fired until their gun barrels glowed red, calling down artillery so close that shrapnel tore through their own lines. Captain Mill's company on Hill 677 faced the heaviest assaults. At times, the fighting was so close that bayonets and fists replaced rifles. Radio communications faltered. Ammunition ran low. At dawn, surrounded and nearly out of supplies, the battalion refused to retreat. Instead, they tightened their perimeter, dug in deeper, and braced for another night of hell. By the morning of April 25th, the Chinese attacks began to falter. Artillery and airstrikes pounded the valley, and the Canadians, exhausted, bloodied but unbroken, held firm. When the smoke cleared, Kapyong Ridge remained in Allied hands. The Canadians had stopped the advance cold. Seoul was saved. Outnumbered 10-1, they'd held their ground through sheer courage and discipline. For their extraordinary bravery and resolve, the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry received the U.S. Presidential Unit Citation, one of the highest honors ever bestowed on a non-American unit. The Battle of Kapyong became a symbol of Canada's determination, a moment when a small band of soldiers stood firm against overwhelming odds, and through their grit and sacrifice, changed the course of a war.